The Galactic Council chamber was filled with representatives from many alien species. They had gathered for an important meeting to discuss a new race that had recently made its presence known: humans. At first, most members of the council didn't take the report seriously. Humans seemed like just another small, insignificant species. But over time, the stories coming in from different parts of the galaxy became harder to ignore. Councillor Vrix, a tall creature with 4 eyes and smooth purple skin, was the first to speak. "I've been hearing strange things about this species, humans. Can anyone confirm what I've been told?" A few other council members nodded. A Zorath warrior named Kel, known for his strength and fearless nature, stood up. "I fought alongside some humans in a battle a few months ago," he said in a deep voice. "At first I thought they were weak. They don't have thick armor or advanced weapons like us. But I was wrong." The council listened closely as Kel described the battle. "We were pinned down by enemy fire. There was no way out. I expected the humans to retreat or surrender, but they did the opposite. They laughed. Yes, laughed! And then they charged at the enemy with everything they had. I thought they were mad, but somehow they won. They turned the tide of the battle by taking risks no sane warrior would ever take." The room fell silent for a moment. Then murmurs spread through the chamber. Councillor Vrix frowned, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly. "Laughing in battle? That doesn't sound like a normal response." Another council member, a small bird-like alien named Quern, spoke up next. "I heard a story from a mining colony on a dangerous planet. The conditions there are brutal. The temperature swings are extreme, and the atmosphere is toxic. Most species can't last more than a few days. But the humans, they've been living there for months, and they even built a settlement." The council couldn't believe what they were hearing. "Are they using special suits or technology?" Vrix asked, confused. "No," Quern replied. "They just seem to adapt. They built shelters with their own hands, using whatever they could find. And when the local wildlife attacked them, instead of running, they hunted the creatures down for food. The humans don't just survive, they thrive in environments that should kill them." Kel leaned forward, crossing his massive arms. "They're unpredictable. That's what makes them so dangerous. You never know what they'll do next." At the far end of the room, a slim alien with green skin and large black eyes named Tarim stood up to share his experience. "In my world, humans are known as the lucky ones. They've survived events that should have wiped them out. One human ship drifted into a dangerous nebula, and we all thought they were lost forever. But weeks later, they reappeared, not only alive, but with valuable resources they had collected from the nebula. It's as if they don't fear death at all." Councillor Vrix raised his hand, silencing the room. "These stories seem impossible, but we have heard too many to ignore. Humans are not like any species we have encountered before. Their behavior is strange. They laugh in battle, they live in deadly environments, and they take risks that should kill them, but somehow they survive. What are we to make of this?" A heavy silence fell over the chamber. The council members exchanged uneasy glances. They were used to dealing with logical, predictable species, but humans seemed to defy all expectations. "Perhaps they are not a threat," Quern suggested cautiously. "Maybe they are just unusual." Vrix shook his head slowly. "Unusual or not, we must pay attention to them. If half of these stories are true, then humans may become a bigger force in the galaxy than we ever imagined. We cannot ignore them any longer." The council agreed. Humans, with their strange habits and impossible survival stories, had become a mystery the Galactic Council could no longer afford to overlook. They would need to observe this species more closely, to learn what really made them so different and so dangerous. As the meeting ended, one thing was clear. The Galactic Council had never encountered anything quite like the humans, and that was just the beginning. The Galactic Council was buzzing with excitement and anxiety. After hearing the strange stories about humans, they knew they had to learn more. Councillor Vrix, still concerned about the potential threat humans posed, called for an urgent meeting to discuss what they had learned. The council decided to organize a demonstration, an upcoming battle where humans would participate. They wanted to see for themselves how these creatures fought. Days later, the council members gathered in a large viewing chamber, overlooking a training ground where a mixed group of soldiers prepared for the battle simulation. The humans stood out among the other fighters. While the Zorath warriors wore heavy armor and carried advanced weapons, the humans were dressed in simple clothes, armed with basic tools and firearms. They looked unassuming, yet there was an air of confidence about them. As the battle began, the council watched closely. The simulation started with a loud horn, and both sides rushed forward. The Zorath soldiers advanced in a disciplined formation, relying on their strength and strategy. But the humans acted differently. Instead of forming ranks, they scattered, running in every direction. Counselor Vrix leaned forward, his 4 eyes wide in disbelief. "What are they doing?" he asked, confused. Kel, the Zorath warrior, stood beside him, shaking his head. "They're not fighting like trained soldiers. They look chaotic." As the simulation continued, the humans began to do the unexpected. They charged at the enemy, laughing and shouting. One human jumped over a barricade and dove right into the enemy's line, dodging blaster fire with impressive agility. The council gasped as they witnessed this madness. Why would they do that? Quern squawked, his feathers ruffled in shock. The humans didn't seem to care about their safety. They took risks that were unthinkable to the council members. While other species would plan their moves carefully, the humans acted on instinct. They threw themselves into danger without hesitation, using their environment to their advantage. One human swung from a rope, surprising the enemy, and knocked them down before rolling back to his feet, ready for more. "Look at that!" Kel shouted, pointing to a human who had just pulled off an amazing maneuver. "They fight with a kind of madness. It's like they thrive on chaos." The council was amazed. They had never seen anything like it. As the simulation progressed, the humans continued to outsmart their opponents with creativity and unpredictability. They formed improvised teams using their numbers to overwhelm enemies one by one. They shouted encouragement to each other, and their laughter echoed across the battlefield, even amidst the chaos. Vrix felt a mix of fear and admiration. "Are they even aware of the danger they're in?" he asked, still mesmerized by the display. "It's as if they see battle as a game." As the simulation reached its climax, the humans began to turn the tide. They worked together, combining their unique skills in ways the council had never anticipated. One human created a distraction while others flanked the enemy. The battle that seemed hopeless for them suddenly changed course. The Zorath soldiers, who had relied on strength and discipline, found themselves overwhelmed by the sheer unpredictability of the humans. Finally, the simulation ended, and the humans emerged victorious, cheering and celebrating their win. The council members stared in disbelief. The humans had shown that their style of fighting, while chaotic, was effective. It was a battle unlike anything they had seen before, and it left a lasting impression on everyone present. "I must admit," Kel said, his voice low, "they fight like they have nothing to lose. There's a fire in them that I have never seen in my own kind." Quern nodded slowly. "They are mad, but perhaps that madness gives them strength. We may have underestimated them." Counselor Vrix finally spoke, his voice steady. "We cannot ignore what we've just witnessed. These humans are not just a curious species. They are a force to be reckoned with. If they continue to fight like this, they could change the balance of power in the galaxy." The council knew they had to be cautious. Humans were unpredictable and mad, yes, but they were also resilient and strong. The council's perception of humanity was shifting. What began as a series of strange stories had become a compelling reality. The humans, with their chaotic nature and wild strategies, were now on the council's radar as a potential ally or a formidable enemy. As the meeting adjourned, Vrix felt a mix of fear and excitement. They had much to learn about these insane humans, and their next steps would determine the future of the galaxy. The Galactic Council was still buzzing from the battle demonstration. The humans had amazed everyone with their wild fighting style and unexpected victories. But what impressed them most was the stories of survival they had heard. Counselor Vrix knew they needed to explore this aspect of humanity further. He called for a new meeting where they would focus on the humans' resilience. As the council members gathered once again, Vrix addressed them. "Today we will discuss the incredible survival skills of humans. We have heard many stories, but we need to understand how they can endure in conditions that would destroy most other species." Kel, the Zorath warrior, nodded. "I have heard stories from my friends in the mining colonies. They say that humans are often found in the most dangerous places, and they always seem to survive." Quern, the small bird-like alien, fluffed his feathers and chimed in. "I once read a report about a human crew that was lost in a massive asteroid field. Most species would have perished in such a place, but somehow they found a way to navigate through it, using the asteroids for cover." Counselor Vrix looked intrigued. "How is that possible?" Do they have special technology? No, Kel replied, shaking his head. They rely on their instincts and resourcefulness. Humans have a strange ability to adapt. It's as if they can think on their feet. As the council continued to share stories, Vrix's mind raced with possibilities. He remembered a particular report that had crossed his desk. What about the human ship that crashed on the planet Jorath? He asked, bringing up a holographic display. The image showed a damaged ship surrounded by hostile terrain and fierce wildlife. Quern spoke up, recalling the details. Yes, that was remarkable. The crew managed to survive in a place filled with deadly predators. Instead of giving up, they used what they had left. They built traps and shelters, gathering resources from their environment. They even learned to hunt the very creatures that hunted them. Vrix leaned closer, fascinated. And they did this all while being outnumbered and outgunned? Kel nodded. That's right. Their determination is something to behold. They do not surrender easily. It's as if they thrive under pressure. Other species might run away or hide, but humans confront their challenges head-on. Another council member, a tall armored being named Gorek, spoke. I have encountered humans in battle before. They don't just fight to survive, they fight to win. They have a strange fire in their eyes that you don't see in many other species. They are relentless. Vrix was impressed by this. Their tenacity is certainly extraordinary. Perhaps this is why they have survived so many conflicts in the past. They don't just face danger, they embrace it. As the discussion continued, more stories surfaced. One council member shared a tale about a human soldier who had been trapped under enemy fire. Rather than waiting for rescue, the soldier used a makeshift weapon to fight back and eventually escape, despite being severely injured. Did you hear that? Quern exclaimed. They refuse to accept defeat. They push themselves beyond limits that would break others. Vrix agreed. This makes them unpredictable but also powerful. If we are to understand humans, we must study their mindset and their willingness to take risks. Their survival instinct is unlike anything we have seen. The council members exchanged thoughtful glances, each realizing that they were beginning to see humans in a new light. They were not just a strange species, they were complex beings with unique strengths. Just then, a report came in from a distant outpost. A group of humans had just survived a massive storm on the planet Zenthia, known for its extreme weather conditions. Instead of fleeing, they had banded together and created a safe haven, protecting themselves and their supplies until the storm passed. This proves it, Kel said, excitement in his voice. They work together, even in the most desperate situations. They have a strong sense of community. Vrix nodded, acknowledging the truth in Kel's words. We may have much to learn from these humans. Their ability to survive, adapt, and overcome challenges could be invaluable to us. Perhaps instead of viewing them solely as a threat, we should consider the possibility of cooperation. As the meeting ended, the council felt a renewed sense of curiosity. They were no longer just observing humans, they were beginning to appreciate their incredible survival skills. The more they learned, the more questions they had. What other secrets did these strange beings hold? What more could they discover about the impossible survivors from Earth? The council members left the chamber, pondering the unique spirit of humanity and what it might mean for the galaxy. The journey to understand humans was only just beginning, and already it promised to be full of surprises. The Galactic Council had been closely studying humans for weeks. After witnessing their incredible survival skills and their wild fighting styles, they were ready to explore the most mysterious aspect of humanity, their minds. Counselor Vrix believed understanding how humans thought would be crucial to figuring out whether they should be allies or enemies. The council gathered again, this time in a room designed for discussions about psychology and strategy. Bright lights illuminated the chamber, and the air buzzed with excitement. Counselor Vrix stood at the front, eager to dive into the topic. Today, we will discuss the unpredictable nature of human minds. They are not like any other species we know. Kel, the Zorath warrior, leaned forward. I've often wondered about their thoughts. Humans seem to act on impulse, making choices that others would never consider. What drives them to take such risks? Quern, the small bird-like alien, chirped in. I have read that humans have a strong sense of creativity. They think outside the box, which is why they come up with unexpected solutions during battles. Vrix nodded, appreciating Quern's insight. Exactly. Humans possess a unique ability to think creatively, which can be both a gift and a curse. While it allows them to solve problems in unusual ways, it can also lead to chaotic outcomes. To illustrate his point, Vrix displayed a holographic image of a human inventor, showcasing a device that combined various tools in ways never seen before. This is an example of their ingenuity. Humans often take ordinary objects and transform them into something new. Their minds work like a puzzle, connecting pieces in unexpected ways. Kel scratched his head. But how does this affect their behavior in battle? Great question, Vrix replied, shifting the focus to the ongoing conflict scenarios. Their unpredictability can be an advantage. When they face an enemy, they don't just rely on training, they improvise. They can adapt to the situation, even changing tactics mid-fight. This makes them difficult to predict, Quern added. I have seen footage of human soldiers using their surroundings creatively. They turn ordinary things into weapons. They can make traps out of simple materials. Other species stick to their training, but humans embrace chaos. The council watched clips of humans fighting in various scenarios. One clip showed a human soldier hiding behind a rock and using a makeshift slingshot to attack. Instead of a conventional weapon, the soldier used a nearby stone, showcasing how they could think quickly in high-pressure situations. This unpredictability can be frustrating, Kel admitted, but it also makes them exciting. They don't play by the rules. Vrix paused, considering this. Indeed, their unpredictable nature can lead to surprising outcomes. But we must remember that it can also be dangerous. They may act impulsively, leading to unexpected consequences that could affect us all. As the discussion continued, a debate erupted among the council members. Some believed humans were too reckless to be trusted, while others saw their unpredictability as a strength. Quern shared a story about a group of humans who had survived an alien invasion by using creativity to outsmart their attackers. Instead of fighting head-on, they devised clever strategies, Quern explained. They created distractions and used the terrain to their advantage. It was brilliant! That's a perfect example of their minds in action, Vrix said. They think in ways we don't fully understand. Their ability to improvise makes them unpredictable allies or dangerous foes. As the meeting progressed, the council began to realize the importance of understanding humanity's psychology. They recognized that humans were not only capable of great creativity, but also of deep emotion. Their passion fueled their decisions, sometimes leading to irrational choices. In the closing moments of the meeting, Vrix summarized their findings. We must approach humans with caution and respect. Their minds are a labyrinth of unpredictability. If we can learn to navigate this labyrinth, we may find valuable allies in our quest for peace. The council members left the chamber feeling a mix of excitement and apprehension. They knew they had only scratched the surface of what made humans unique. The more they learned, the more questions arose. How could they engage with these unpredictable minds? What if the humans' creativity led them to develop technology that could change the galaxy? As the council disbanded, Vrix pondered the future. The unpredictable nature of humanity was both a challenge and an opportunity. The Galactic Council needed to tread carefully, for in their search for understanding, they might find themselves drawn into a whirlwind of chaos and brilliance that only humans could create. The Galactic Council was on high alert. After weeks of studying humans, they were preparing for their first face-to-face meeting with a human delegation. Counselor Vrix believed this meeting would be crucial. They had gathered much information about humans, but now they needed to see if their insights were correct. Would the humans live up to their reputation, or would they surprise the council once more? As the day approached, the council members were filled with excitement and apprehension. Vrix stood at the front of the chamber addressing his fellow counselors. We have seen how resourceful, unpredictable, and resilient humans can be. Today we will finally meet them. Remember to keep an open mind. They may not act as we expect. The council members nodded, but some looked worried. Kel, the Zorath warrior, frowned. What if they come here to fight? They are known for their madness in battle. Quern, the bird-like alien, replied. Or they could come to negotiate peace. We need to be prepared for anything. Finally, the moment arrived. The doors of the grand chamber opened, and the human delegation entered. They walked confidently, their expressions a mix of determination and curiosity. The humans looked different from what the council had imagined. Their clothing was casual, and their demeanor was surprisingly relaxed. Counselor Vrix stepped forward, trying to appear welcoming. Welcome, humans! We are honored to meet you. We have heard many stories about your kind. One of the human representatives, a tall woman with bright eyes and an easy smile, responded. Thank you. We're excited to be here. We've heard a lot about the Galactic Council as well. The conversation began, and the humans spoke openly, sharing stories about their experiences. They recounted how they had come together during crises, their creativity in the face of danger, and their commitment to protecting one another. As they spoke, Vrix noticed something astonishing. The humans' passion was infectious. But then, just as the council was beginning to feel comfortable, a human named Jake stood up. He leaned forward and said, "You know, we've been watching you too, and we think it's time for a little test." The council members exchanged confused glances. "A test?" Vrix asked, bewildered. "Yes," Jake replied with a grin. "Let's see how well you can handle the unexpected." Before anyone could react, he pulled out a small device and pressed a button. Instantly, the room filled with bright lights, and the walls transformed into a chaotic battlefield. The counselors were taken aback as holographic images of an alien invasion began flashing all around them. Humans in battle gear appeared, working together to defend their home planet. "What is happening?" Kel shouted, clutching his head in shock. Jake laughed, his voice booming over the sounds of the battle. "This is just a simulation. It's how we train to face challenges. We want to see if you can think on your feet." Vrix felt a surge of both fear and excitement. The simulation was incredibly realistic. The council members were now witnessing the humans' creativity and adaptability firsthand. They had to work together to navigate the chaos, just like the humans did in real battles. The counselors scrambled to strategize, shouting suggestions and moving as one unit. Quern, using his quick thinking, suggested they create diversions to confuse the invading forces. Vrix encouraged the others to improvise and adapt. The council was amazed by how the humans thrived in chaos. After a few intense minutes, the simulation came to a sudden halt. The lights dimmed and the holograms faded. The council members were left breathless, their hearts racing. "That was incredible!" Kel exclaimed, his warrior spirit ignited. "You really know how to handle a crisis." Jake smiled broadly. "That's how we are. We face challenges head-on and adapt to whatever comes our way. We're unpredictable, but that's what makes us strong." Vrix, still recovering from the shock, realized that this meeting had turned into a valuable lesson. "You have shown us a side of humanity we did not expect. Your resilience and ability to embrace chaos are truly remarkable." As the council members began to understand the humans better, a sense of camaraderie formed. They realized that their differences could lead to powerful alliances. The meeting ended on a high note with laughter and shared stories. The council left the chamber, their minds buzzing with new possibilities. They had entered with uncertainty and fear, but they emerged with respect and admiration for the unpredictable beings known as humans. The Galactic Council learned a valuable lesson that day. Sometimes the most shocking experiences lead to the greatest connections. The humans were not just a challenge, they were allies in the making. Together, they could face any threat the galaxy had to offer. And as the stars twinkled outside, the Council looked forward to what the future held. A future where humans and aliens could unite to face the unknown, side by side.